Welcome to the part 5 of the Python Pandas course. In this part we are going to be talking about how we can handle time series data in Pandas, and we are going to be talking about date functions. Let's start coding. Okay, now we are going to talk about time series and date handling, and let's make an introduction to time-based data. So time-based data is everywhere. Stock prices changing every second, weather readings every hour, website traffic every day, or sales number every month. Pandas includes powerful tools to work with dates and time because Python alone doesn't make tasks like resampling or rolling calculations easily. With Pandas, you can parse messy date strings into clean timestamps, group data by year, month, week, or hour, fill missing dates, compute moving averages, shift data forward or backward in time, and create forecasts or trends. So let's walk step by step. Firstly, let's talk about date parsing. Date parsing means converting strings like, let's say 2024 0521 or 201 24 24 1430 into actual Pandas date time objects. And why it is useful? You cannot do time-based calculations until dates are in proper date time format, like these are in the string format. You can see that, but we can check type, and I'm going to say firstly import pandas yes pd and pd to date time, and I'm going to pass this. Now we can see that it's in the timestamp format, and think like this is like taking messy handwritten dates and rewriting them into a clean digital calendar so your computer can understand them. Okay, now let's start. I'm going to create a data with date 2024 0101 2024 0102, and I'm going to start giving different format 24 0103, and then I'm going to say January 4 2024, and let's add like, let's say sales like 100, 120, 90, and 160. So I'm going to create a data frame, pandas data frame, data, and now I'm going to call the data frame and data types. We can see that date is in object format, but what else we can do is we can say pandas to date time, and I'm going to pass the data frame date, this series. And we got an error because in here we can see that we have year dash month dash day, and in here it's the same, but in here we have slashes instead of dashes, and in here month name format, and Pandas tries to guess one consistent format but cannot. Because of that it warns you. But what you can do instead is you can pass a parameter like format, and you can say next. Now when you say that, you are going to see that it's going to be parsed successfully. Now I'm going to save this to something like data frame date, and I'm going to save it like this. Now when I call data frame and data frame data types, we are going to see that we have date time in here instead of object. And now let's talk about resampling. This is how we can parse the dates in Pandas. Okay, resampling means changing the frequency of your time-based data. For example, convert hourly data to daily averages, or convert daily data to monthly totals. And why it is useful? It's useful because real data rarely comes in the frequency you need. Resampling helps clean, analyze, or visualize time trends. Think like you may have sales every day but need monthly revenue summaries. So I'm going to say date range is going to be pandas date range start 2024 0101, and I'm going to set the periods as 7, and I'm going to say frequency daily. So when I call this range, we can see that we have date time index created by Pandas for a 7-day period. Now I'm going to create a data frame, pd data frame equals to pandas data frame. I will say sales, and it's going to be like 10, 20, 15, 30, 40, 35, and 50. And then I'm going to say index, and it's going to be range. So when I call the data frame, we are going to have a time-based index and the sales numbers in here. So if I want to say like resample to weekly sum, I can just say data frame resample weekly, and I can say sum like this. So now I have the week sum for this week, and let's just increase these numbers, like I will say period 14, and I'm just going to give 7 more numbers, like let's say 10, 10, 5, 3, 4, 5, and 10. So I'm going to make this run again, all of them, and now we have this data, and when I make this run we can see the different weeks and the sales number. So we resampled our data weekly. And if there's another week, like I'm just going to say periods 15, and I'm going to say one more value only, like let's say 20. Now I'm going to make this run. We are going to see we have the third week. And let's say that we want to resample the data to show the mean sales per 2 days. We can say data frame resample by 2 days, and we can use the mean aggregation function. So we get something like this. Okay, now let's talk about rolling windows. So a rolling window creates a moving calculation. For example, 3-day moving average or 7-day rolling sum. And it's useful because rolling windows smooth noisy data and help reveal trends. Think of averaging your last 3 test scores to see your current performance trend. And it's pretty simple. Let me call the data frame, and we have sales numbers like this. Let's say data frame rolling 3-day, and we are going to say data frame sales, and we will say rolling 3, and we will use the mean method. So in here, rolling 3 creates a sliding window of size 3, and mean calculates the average inside each window. So when I call the data frame, we are going to see that we have a rolling 3-day column. And since we don't have any kind of value for the first 2 entries because there's no previous day values, they became NA. Okay, now for an exercise, let's compute a 2-day rolling sum. We can do that by data frame rolling sum 2-day, and I will say data frame sales rolling 2.sum. So we are going to have something like this. And since we don't have the previous day, there's NA in here. Okay, now I'm going to create the data frame again, and then we can talk about the shift. Let's say frequency 7 and 6, 7. Let's remove those. So I'm just going to say like this, and we are going to have the data frame like this. Okay, let's talk about shifting. Shifting moves your data forward or backward in time, and it's perfect for comparing today's value to yesterday's value. And the common uses are gains and losses and differences from previous periods. Like I'm going to create something like data frame yesterday sales, and it's going to be equal to the data frame sales shift 1. And I'm going to call the data frame. Here we can see that we have yesterday sales and we have NA for the first row. There's no yesterdays for that. And I'm going to say data frame change, and it's going to be equal to the data frame sales minus data frame yesterday sales. So we have change column in here. We can use the shift function for moving sales downwards by 1 row. Okay, let's shift the sales column by 2 days. For that, we can say data frame shift 2, and I will say data frame sales shift and 2. So when I call that, we are going to see we have the shift 2 in here. Okay, now I'm going to get back the data frame I have at the start, and let's talk about time-based analytics. We saw parsing, resampling, rolling, and shifting. Now we can perform real-time analytics. So let's make examples of time-based operations. Like let's extract the parts of a data. So I'm going to say data frame.index, and from here we can say month for taking the months from our data, or we can get the day names like this. You are going to see Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and stuff like that. So let's just say data frame month is going to be data frame index month. So when I create this, I can analyze my data, like I can do group buys monthly and stuff like that. And let's say weekday, and it's going to be equal to data frame index, day name, and here we have the day names of that dates accurately. And let's say that we want to filter by date range. For that we can say data frame location, and let's say 2024-0103 to 2024-0106. We can make filtering like this. And let's say that we want to group our data by weekday. So we can say data frame group by, and then I will say data frame index day name, and then I'm going to say sales.sum. So we are going to have this result. Awesome. That was it for this part. And in the next part, we are going to talk about feature engineering for machine learning. See you in that part. Thanks for watching this part of the Pandas for Data Analytics course. I create the playlist for the parts of this course. You can reach that playlist from the cards of this video or from the comments section. Also, I'm sharing a new data science video every week on my channel. You can subscribe for more videos like this. Have a great day.